Alright, hello. Welcome back. This is going to be my predictions for UFC 316. Banger card. I don't know what everyone's talking about. I've heard like Bedtime MMA, I've heard MMA Guru, I've heard Lucas Tracy, all unanimously say, already stumbling my words, this is a great start. All three of them said, this is a shit card. I don't know what they're seeing. On paper, these fights should be great, but I think they're believing in the chins of some people that much. But, I mean, we'll only see once the pay-per-view starts, but I'm not going to yap anymore. We're going to get straight into it. Starting off with the early prelims. We are starting with Markel Maderos versus Mark Chryuski. I think that's how you pronounce it. This is an interesting fight, not only because it's the UFC debut of Mark, but Markel Maderos is coming off a very, very weird performance. I don't know how to rate that, because he barely won against Austin Hubbard, who is usually known as a pushover in these types of fights. I'm not saying that he's a pushover in general, I'm just saying this should have been an easy win for Markel, but it could have been an off night, I don't know. But I'm actually going to go with the underdog pick here. I'm going to go with Mark Chryuski by submission. I've watched his last 3 fights, he looks pretty good. He had a fight not too long ago, so he's probably still in shape. I think he had a fight lined up for like next week. So he already had a training camp, which is good. If his grappling holds up to UFC level, I can see him submitting him in rounds 2 or 3. Now bear in mind, I don't like his stand-up. His stand-up is very ugly looking. So I can definitely see Markel piecing him up on the feet and even TKOing him. But I'm going to go with my gut, and I'm going to say Mark Chryuski submission rounds 2 or 3. I just have a feeling, you know. This is not going to be the I might be wrong pick of the night. I know I haven't done one of them in a while, but later on I have a big underdog pick for you all, which is nice and juicy. Pause. Killian Salkid versus Yanel Ashmuz. This is a very tricky fight to predict because it's hard to say with confidence Killian wins, because like if you say that like he's already a 1-5 favorite, which is like crazy to me, like. Just because he knocked out Anshul Jubilee, the best Indian fighter of all time, which will not be the last time I mention him this card. I don't think that's a credible enough win to justify a 1-5 rating, but I could be wrong. It's not going to change who I view the fight, and I definitely do see Killian winning. But to act like Yanel Ashmuz is a pushover is insane. I'm going to go with Killian Salkid rounds 2 or 3 knockout. Everyone's going for round 1 knockout. I don't see it. I see him knocking him down in round 1. But this is probably going to be fight of the night in my opinion. I think this might be the fight of the night. This is definitely going to be a war between these two gentlemen. They're walking around now like 170 and they fight at lightweight. These are two big, big lightweights. Especially Killian. I can see him moving up in the future to welterweight, but right now he's gonna do good. I don't know what else to say. Speaking of Anshul Jubilee, the first ever Indonesian UFC fighter and the first ever Indonesian fighter to get a win in the UFC. Yes, I have been watching in the morning weigh-in show. It is a terrible watch. I'm only watching it for the weigh-ins. Jacari versus Ju Sang-yo. I'm going to go with Ju Sang-yo purely because he's coming off 3 back-to-back round 1 knockouts. And Jacari got knocked out by Anshul Jubilee. I'm not saying Anshul Jubilee is terrible. But if you're getting knocked out by him, that's questionable. I'm going to go with Ju Sang-yo round 1 or 2 knockout, most likely round 1. I just think he's the more technical striker. Now bear in mind, Sergey does have a bit of power on him. So if he catches Ju Sang-yo cleanly, he might put him out cold. That's just how I feel it. But I think Ju Sang-yo is the more technical fighter. He'll find openings, find his counters, find his shots, keep his range, all that jazz. I don't know about grappling between these two. I haven't seen that much footage between them to like properly say where they are each like in the grappling with each other. But on the striking, I definitely see Ju Sang-yo, getting the better of Jacari. Alright, moving on. Oh yeah, I'm going Ju Sang-yo round 1 or 2 knockout. The greatest women's MMA fighter of all time, Wang Kong. People forget, man. No, this fight I'm actually worried for, because our only loss in the UFC was against a Brazilian submission artist with a good head kick. And this is also a Brazilian submission artist, which troubles me, but I feel like Wang Kong has learned from her mistakes. I feel like that loss to I forget her name, but I'm just gonna say the Brazilian woman. That loss to the Brazilian woman, I feel like she was just getting too overconfident and she felt invincible. I reckon this fight she's way more humble, and I reckon she's gonna be more aggressive in this fight. I feel like she's gonna get the knockout rounds 2 or 3. I like Miranda Silva. I feel like she could submit Wang Kong, but I trust Wang Kong to improve her submission defense. I'm going to go Wang Kong rounds 1 or 2 knockout. Or 2 or 3, actually. I'll go 2 or 3 for a safe bet. And I don't condone gambling before YouTube gets a fucking hissy fit about it. Chaos Williams versus Andreas Gufferson. I don't see the hype with Andreas Gufferson. He's very good, like, strength and power. But, like, technique-wise, he's very mid. He's old for, like, making your UFC debut and you're 34 and you're unranked. You're not getting thrown a ranked fighter. This is a bad start for him already. I'm going to go with Chaos Williams, knockout round 2 or 3. I feel like Andreas will have a moment, and if you cannot capitalise on that moment and finish Chaos, I feel like Chaos will come back and knock him out rounds 2 or 3. Clean KO, because Chaos does have power. But I'm going to go with Chaos Williams rounds 2 or 3 KO. Moving on. Sergey Spac versus Waldo Cortez Aosta. This guy is not 6'4", let me just tell you. This guy is not 6'4". He's about 6'2.5", I reckon. But considering that, bringing that into knowledge, I don't think he's going to win this fight. I'm going to go with Sergey Spac, submission rounds 2 or 3. I feel like Waldo Cortez Aosta could maybe piece Spac up in the feet, but I just feel like Spac will just take the shots and then just move in, get a takedown, arm triangle or something, or like an arm bar, get the job done rounds 2 or 3. I definitely see Waldo having a moment, but I don't see him winning the fight. I'm gonna go Sergey Spac, submission rounds 2 or 3. I know I sound like a broken record. Now getting on to the most interesting fight of the night, in my opinion. Rivero versus Azamat Makanov. Azamat is a 5'10" light heavyweight. I mean, my gut, on paper, everyone is picking Azamat because he had that really good knee KO. But let me see how the range is looking. 10-inch range advantage for Rivero. I don't know if I trust Azamat to find his range. I don't know. You know, I'm going to go with Rivero. Knockout or submission. I feel like he might pull it off. I feel like he might pull off the biggest underdog upset of all time. I'm going to go Rivero rounds 2 or 3, knockout or submission. And that's I might be wrong pick of the night, which is not a lock, but I'm just saying it's a big underdog. And I don't condone gambling. Funny enough, same leg reach, which is odd. Big torso, I guess, for fucking Branson. Plus 450, just about. I'm going to go Rivero. I think he can get it done. Moving on. These odds confuse me, by the way. Joshua Van is a minus 600, I believe. 650. Minus 650 favourite, which I do think he's going to win. But to ignore Bruno Silva's accomplishments in the flyweight division before his loss to Manel Cap. It was a bad loss to Manel Cap, but Manel Cap is on his way to a title shot right now, which is like it's kind of an aged well loss. I'm still going to go Joshua Van. I feel like he might knock him out because I feel like he's very young and I feel like his power is increasing with every day. So I think in a year or two, Joshua Van will be known for only like round 2 or 3 KOs or 1 KOs. He's going to get a flatline KO soon. I can feel it because he's still young. He hasn't like developed his like man strength yet. So I feel like this fight, we might see a bit of that. I'm going to go Joshua Van KO rounds 2 or 3. Moving on. Suddenly, there's fog in the UFC website. I don't know what's going on. What the fuck? Am I in the silent hill of the internet, like fucking UFC right now? Alright, a fucking ghost is gonna come out and grab me. I hope you can see the stats, but what the fuck is going on? We're just gonna roll with it. Kevin Holland has lit up a blunt, and now the smoke has filled up the screen. Wow, he's gonna hit me with the 45-70 now in a minute. This is throwing me off completely. Vincente Luque versus Kevin Holland. What the fuck is going on? Vincente Luque versus Kevin Holland. I was gonna go Luque for this one, but I just don't trust Luque's chin. So I feel like Kevin Holland might catch him, like knock him out. I don't know though. He looked very questionable in his Gunnar Nelson fight. Now the question is, what do I rate higher? A win over Gunnar Nelson, who was like out of action for 2 years, or a win over Temba Garimbo, which was a decent up-and-coming prospect? What do I rate higher? I might rate win over Temba Garimbo higher, to be honest. I'm going to go with Kevin Holland. He's had that really questionable press conference where he did storm off, so he might be emotional. I'm going to go with my gut. I'm going to go Kevin Holland KO. I'm just have to go with my gut. I do like Luque and I hope he wins, but I'm just going to go with my gut and say Kevin Holland's KO rounds 1 or 2. He does have that power. Moving on. We're still in the Foglands, apparently. I don't know what's going on. Mario Batista versus Patchy Mix. This is a very interesting fight. Purely because Patchy Mix has fought only, I think it's Bellator or PFL level in talent. I think that's where he fought last, I think. It'd be very interesting to see where like a Bellator fighter or a PFL fighter from their prime like fares against a UFC fighter prospect in his prime. This would be very interesting. And I'm going to trust the 20-1 record. I'm going to go with Patchy Mix rounds 2 or 3 submission. I think his striking, he'd probably get outstruck by Batista, but Batista did look very questionable in the striking against like a very old Jose Aldo, so I could be wrong. I'm going to go with Patchy Mix knockout or submission. I feel like the grappling will be too much for Batista. But moving on. Now this is a very interesting fight. A lot of people are still believing in the chin of Kelvin Gastelum. I don't know. I'm going to go with Joe Pyer. I'm going to go big salty Joe Pyer rounds 1 or 2 knockout. I just don't trust the chin of Kelvin Gastelum to like stand up. And I think Joe Pyer is one of the hardest hitting middleweights right now. I feel like people are saying Nasruddin Imavov is. I don't think that completely. I think the hardest hitting pound for pound middleweight fighter right now, it's got to be Joe Pyer. It would have been Pereira or like it would have been Pereira, but I'm going to go with Joe Pyer as the hardest hitting middleweight right now. I think he's going to sleep him. Like, not even TKO. I think he's going to like drop him bad, hammer fists. He's going to be, like, this is probably going to be a scary knockout, I think. Now watch it become like a very boring split decision. Moving on. A lot of people are choosing Juliana Pena, and they're like, it's pure Dreykus logic, you know what I mean? Like, with the plot armor. Do I think she's going to win against Kayla Harrison? No. I'm going to go with Kayla Harrison knockout rounds 2 or 3. Knockout or submission, whatever way she wants to get it. But I just think she's too strong for Juliana. And I think the Nunes fight after this fight is kind of stupid, to be honest. I don't really see why. I think Nunes needs a bounce back win. If Pena wins, she'll 100% give it to Nunes. Because she knows that might be an easy win for her. But I'm going to go Kayla Harrison. I think the odds are way too wide right now, but they're kind of fair. I'm going to go Kayla Harrison knockout or submission rounds 2 or 3. Moving on to the main event. Merab Dvalishvili, Mygo, versus Sean Sugar O'Malley. Now, there's a lot of debate on whether Sean O'Malley will improve enough for this fight. And my take on it is, he's put on some muscle, and he looked very drained at the weigh-in. The weigh-in just happened like an hour ago. Do I think he will improve enough to get a win over Merab? I feel like he might have the power. This kind of scares me. I think Sean might have enough power because he's bulked up. I think he's preparing to move to featherweight. He's bulked up a little bit. That's guaranteed more power. I think he might chin Merab, but I'm going to trust my gut. I'm going to go with my go. Merab Dvalishvili by submission. I think Merab will catch him in a fucking guillotine. Because he jumped the gilly the last fight, and I trust him to do it again, and I think he'll get it in this time. I'm going to go with Merab by submission. Rounds 3 or 4. I'm going to go rounds 3 or 4 submission for Merab. I see him getting it finished this time, unless Sean just absolutely chins him. You know, even if he gets a decision, I just need Merab to win. You know, guys, if you remember the last video, we need Merab to win, guys. It's a number one, like, he's number 1 pound for pound in my opinion. I'm just kidding. No, he's not. But he's ahead of John Jones in my opinion. I don't know why John Jones is still in the top 3 pound for pound. Right now. All time, yeah, sure, go on, put him on there. But right now, no. Merab has definitely done more credible wins than John Jones. Like, beating Umar, beating Sean, he's cleared out the entire division. He might actually be pound for pound number 1. You know what I mean? He's, like, dominate everyone. Like, I'm even more prime of Jose Aldo. Piotr Yanni literally 50-45 him. The only reason he's not higher in the pound for pound list is because he doesn't get finishes that often. But he's dominating. He's dominating these fights. I'm just going to wrap it up there. I don't want to leave it too long. If anyone wants to say anything in the comments, like tell me to go fuck myself, say Sugar will probably knock out Merab, you're probably right. But I might be wrong, you know? So, like and subscribe if you want. I'm not forcing you to do anything. That's been it. Yep, see ya. Hey guys! I'm in the middle of training camp, guys! Guys, I'm in the training camp. I keep hearing this weird noise outside my house, guys. Wait, do you hear it? What is that? Oh fuck! Guys!